Back in 1979, The Facts of Life felt safe, funny, and comforting, almost like a second family on television. But today, many of the beloved cast members are sadly gone. Some died shortly after the show ended, while others battled alcoholism and tragic personal struggles for years. This is the cast then and now in 2026. Cloris Leachman as Beverly Ann Stickle. Television audiences were introduced to Beverly Ann Stickle in The Facts of Life when Cloris Leachman joined the series at the age of 60, bringing chaotic humor and unpredictable energy to the role of the girl's quirky new guardian. Her arrival gave the sitcom a completely different tone during its later seasons. Cloris was born on April 30th, 1926, in Des Moines, Iowa. Behind her fearless personality, her private life carried enormous pain. Her marriage to director George Englund became infamous in Hollywood because of jealousy, affairs, and their controversial open relationship. The darkest tragedy came in 1986 when her son Brian died from a drug overdose, a loss that haunted her for years. As she grew older, she also battled serious health problems, including a stroke and complications linked to COVID-19. Cloris Leachman passed away on January 27, 2021, at 94 years old in her home in Encinitas, California. Even during her final years, she continued acting and remained one of television's most celebrated performers, with 8 Primetime Emmy Awards and an Academy Award. However, Cloris became just as famous for her outrageous personality as her acting. Her appearance at the roast of Bob Saget in 2008 is still widely shared online because of her shockingly bold jokes about sex and aging while already in her 80s. Despite decades of heartbreak and illness, Cloris Leachman never lost the wild spirit that made her unforgettable. Charlotte Rae as Edna Garrett. At 53 years old, Charlotte Rae became the warm-hearted housemother Edna Garrett in The Facts of Life, turning the caring mentor figure into the emotional soul of the series. Her kindness, humor, and comforting presence made Mrs. Garrett feel like a second mother to an entire generation of viewers. Charlotte was born on April 22, 1926, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Behind her warm smile, her personal life was filled with heartbreak. After 25 years of marriage, her husband, composer John Strauss, revealed that he was bisexual, a confession that shattered their relationship and led to divorce in 1976. At the same time, Charlotte secretly battled alcoholism for years and later relied on Alcoholics Anonymous to maintain sobriety. Her pain deepened even further when her son Andrew, who struggled with autism and epilepsy, died in 1999. Charlotte Rae passed away on August 5, 2018, at the age of 92. After previously surviving pancreatic cancer, she later revealed in 2017 that she had been diagnosed with bone cancer as well. Choosing peace over more painful treatment, Charlotte decided not to undergo chemotherapy and instead spent her remaining time quietly with family and close friends. Away from The Facts of Life, Charlotte also became beloved for her role in Different Strokes and earned praise throughout her long Broadway and television career. In her later years, she openly discussed surviving open-heart surgery, living with a pacemaker, and overcoming addiction, hoping her honesty could help others facing similar struggles. Despite decades of pain, illness, and personal loss, Charlotte Rae remained a symbol of warmth and compassion until the very end of her life. John Lawlor as Stephen Bradley. Audiences first met Stephen Bradley, the Eastland School headmaster in The Facts of Life, through actor John Lawlor when he joined the series at 38 years old. His calm authority and fatherly presence helped shape the atmosphere of the show's first season before major cast changes removed the character entirely. John was born on June 5, 1941, in Troy, New York. Long before television fame, he served in the Vietnam War, an experience that reportedly left him carrying deep emotional scars and PTSD for much of his life. After NBC restructured The Facts of Life and removed several cast members, including him, John reportedly struggled with unemployment and alcoholism during difficult periods of his career. Although rumors later suggested backstage drama caused his departure, the decision was actually tied to the network's attempt to save ratings by focusing on fewer characters. John Lawlor passed away on February 13, 2025, at the age of 83 in a veterans hospice facility in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In the years before his death, he had largely stepped away from Hollywood and lived a much quieter life surrounded by family and the horses he loved caring for in New Mexico. His final credited screen role came in Netflix's Godless in 2017. Outside the facts of life, John also became known for roles in Phyllis, Wyatt Earp, and Breaking Bad, while additionally working behind the scenes as an assistant director on films like Highlander and Excalibur. By the time of his death, John Lawlor was remembered as a hard-working character actor whose steady presence remained part of classic television history. Lisa Whelchel as Blair Warner. Blair Warner, the rich and fashionable teenage girl of The Facts of Life, made Lisa Whelchel one of the most recognizable young stars of the 1980s when she joined the series at just 16 years old. Across the show's long run, Blair's confidence and glamorous image became unforgettable to television audiences. Lisa was born on May 29, 1963, in Littlefield, Texas. Behind her polished television image, her personal life became far more complicated. Raised in a deeply strict Christian household, she constantly struggled between Hollywood fame and religious expectations. Her 24-year marriage to Pastor Stephen Cauble collapsed in 2012, leaving her battling depression and a painful identity crisis. Around the same period, her parenting book, Creative Correction, sparked backlash, while her emotional appearance on Survivor Philippines surprised viewers who had always seen her as calm and composed. By 2026, at 63 years old, Lisa remains active in entertainment. She currently hosts Collector's Call on MeTV and recently returned to publishing with her Substack project, Throw Out the Bathwater. She has also continued speaking publicly about wanting a Facts of Life reboot to finally happen someday. Lisa later revealed that competing on Survivor exposed a more emotional and messy side of herself, and shortly afterward, she was diagnosed with the West Nile virus, which seriously affected her health. During the sitcom's original run, she also refused storylines that conflicted with her faith, including one involving Blair losing her virginity. Alongside television, she earned a Grammy nomination for her Christian album, All Because of You, and later appeared in films like You Light Up My Christmas and Fall Into Me. After years of controversy and emotional struggles, Lisa Whelchel became a symbol of resilience for many former child stars. Mindy Cohn as Natalie Green. At just 13 years old, Mindy Cohn joined The Facts of Life as Natalie Green, the funny and intelligent teenage girl whose warmth made her one of the most relatable characters on the series. Her natural humor and emotional performances helped Natalie become a fan favorite throughout the show's long success. Mindy was born on May 20, 1966, in Los Angeles, California. While audiences loved Natalie's cheerful personality, Mindy privately struggled with painful pressure behind the scenes. Producers reportedly pushed her to maintain Natalie's chubby image, which led to years of public ridicule and eventually contributed to eating disorder struggles. Her hardest battle began in 2012 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mindy secretly endured double mastectomy surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation treatments for 5 painful years while keeping the illness hidden from the public. By 2026, at 60 years old, Mindy is continuing her recovery after revealing she recently faced cancer for a second time. In April 2026, she shocked fans by announcing she had undergone another major surgery at Providence St. John's Hospital in California and temporarily stepped away from social media to focus on healing. Away from acting, Mindy became widely known as the longtime voice of Velma in the Scooby-Doo franchise, a role that introduced her to an entirely new generation of fans. Her personal relationships, however, became more complicated after she publicly accused an unnamed former Facts of Life co-star of secretly destroying a planned reunion project through greed and private negotiations. The controversy damaged decades-long friendships within the cast and left lingering tension between the former Eastland sisters. Despite the emotional fallout and ongoing health struggles, Mindy Cohn is still admired for her honesty, resilience, and willingness to speak openly about survival. George Clooney as George Burnett. At the age of 24, George Clooney appeared in The Facts of Life as George Burnett, the charming handyman and occasional love interest whose small role came years before Clooney transformed into a global superstar. His appearance on the sitcom happened during the uncertain early years of a career that had not yet found its breakthrough. George was born on May 6, 1961, in Lexington, Kentucky. His younger years were marked by insecurity after Bell's palsy temporarily paralyzed part of his face during adolescence. While trying to establish himself in Hollywood, he reportedly clashed with producers on The Facts of Life and was eventually fired after an argument behind the scenes. Another painful chapter came in 2007 when a serious motorcycle accident left him with broken ribs, head trauma, and chronic pain that continued for years afterward. By 2026, at 65 years old, Clooney remains one of the most influential names in entertainment. He is preparing to reunite with Brad Pitt and Matt Damon for Ocean's 14, which is expected to begin filming later in 2026. In May, he celebrated his 65th birthday with Amal Clooney in Saint-Tropez after the couple officially became French citizens in late 2025. He also recently attended the King's Trust anniversary event in London alongside King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Beyond acting, George became equally famous for his political activism and outspoken personality. In April 2026, he sparked headlines after publicly accusing Donald Trump of committing war crimes over comments involving Iran, leading to a public feud with the White House. Around the same time, tabloids pushed rumors about problems in his marriage to Amal, while internet speculation attempted to connect his name to Jeffrey Epstein. Claims he strongly denied and reportedly found insulting. Despite decades of controversy and pressure, George Clooney remains one of Hollywood's most powerful and recognizable figures. Felice Schachter as Nancy Olson. Nancy Olson, one of the original Eastland schoolgirls in The Facts of Life, was portrayed by Felice Schachter when she was still only 16 years old. Although her time on the series lasted just one season, she remained part of the show's earliest chapter and helped shape its original identity. Felice was born in Queens, New York City, and entered show business almost immediately after birth, appearing on magazine covers as a baby before starring in more than 100 television commercials. But her early success collapsed suddenly after producers decided to remove several girls from the cast following season 1. The rejection reportedly shattered her confidence and even led to bullying at school. By 2026, at 63 years old, Felice has lived far away from the spotlight for decades. After quietly leaving acting in the 1990s, she spent years working behind the scenes as a production coordinator before stepping away from Hollywood almost entirely. She still occasionally reconnects with cast members from the show's first season, but mostly keeps her life private. Outside television, Felice also trained in dance and appeared in productions connected to the Stuttgart Ballet, Bolshoi Ballet, and New York City Ballet. In later years, she reportedly shifted her attention toward education and work connected to special needs children rather than entertainment. While many former child stars continued chasing fame, Felice Schachter chose stability and peace over life in front of the cameras. Kim Fields as Dorothy Tootie Ramsey. At only 10 years old, Kim Fields stepped into The Facts of Life as Dorothy Tootie Ramsey, the energetic young girl whose roller skates and humor quickly made her one of the show's most beloved characters. Her charm helped Tootie become unforgettable throughout the sitcom's success. Kim was born on May 12, 1969, in New York City. While audiences saw a cheerful child star, her real life behind the scenes was filled with pressure. Controlled closely by her mother, actress Chip Fields, Kim worked exhausting hours from a very young age while also dealing with criticism about her appearance and race inside Hollywood. As she grew older, the pressure became even more painful. Her first marriage ended in divorce in 2001, and she later suffered the heartbreak of 2 miscarriages, experiences that deeply affected her emotionally. By 2026, at 57 years old, Kim remains highly respected in Hollywood. She currently stars in the final season of Netflix's The Upshaws, while also directing several episodes of the series. In recent years, she has expanded her directing career across NBC, CBS, and Paramount+, successfully reinventing herself behind the camera. Years after surviving child stardom, Kim faced another difficult chapter after joining the Real Housewives of Atlanta, later admitting the toxic atmosphere nearly damaged both her reputation and marriage. She also dealt with rumors claiming she joined the series because of financial problems, although she strongly denied those accusations. Away from reality television, she eventually found stability after marrying actor Christopher Morgan in 2007, and together they raised 2 sons. After decades in entertainment, she is now respected as one of the rare child stars who successfully rebuilt both her career and personal life. Nancy McKeon as Jo Polniacek. Nancy McKeon was only 14 years old when she entered the Facts of Life as Jo Polniacek, the rebellious tough girl whose street-smart attitude completely changed the energy of the series. Jo quickly became one of the show's strongest personalities and helped turn Nancy into one of television's most recognizable teenage actresses. Nancy was born on April 4, 1966, in Westbury, New York. Behind her confident on-screen image, her early life was filled with pressure and instability as her family constantly moved to support both her acting career and her brother Philip McKeon's career. Years later, she reportedly struggled emotionally after losing the role of Monica on Friends, a disappointment that deeply affected her confidence during a difficult stage of her career. Another devastating loss came in 2019 when her brother Philip died after a long illness, causing Nancy to withdraw almost completely from public life while grieving privately. By 2026, at 60 years old, Nancy has slowly returned to the spotlight through theater. In 2025 and 2026, she received strong praise for her off-Broadway performance as Bernie in the play Pen Pals, marking a major artistic comeback after years away from major projects. She continues living quietly in New York with her husband Mark Andrus and their 2 daughters, while maintaining a far more private lifestyle than many former television stars. Nancy later became well known for her dramatic role in The Division, which proved she could successfully move beyond sitcom television. In recent interviews, she also opened up about the harsh weight pressures placed on the young Facts of Life cast members during their teenage years. Although old stories about her surviving a violent fan attack at 17 and a serious skiing accident in 1993 resurfaced online recently, Nancy has remained calm and supportive toward her former castmates despite ongoing reunion tensions surrounding the series. After decades of personal loss and Hollywood pressure, Nancy McKeon is now respected for her quiet resilience and enduring career. Mackenzie Astin as Andy Moffat. Only 12 years old when he joined The Facts of Life, Mackenzie Astin played Andy Moffat, the sensitive young boy introduced during the show's later seasons. His emotional performances quickly made Andy an important part of the Eastland family during the sitcom's final years. Mackenzie was born on May 12, 1973, in Los Angeles, California, into one of Hollywood's most famous acting families. As the son of Patty Duke and John Astin, and the younger brother of Sean Astin, he grew up surrounded by fame but also emotional chaos. His mother's struggle with bipolar disorder created an unstable childhood, and during his teenage years, Mackenzie reportedly fell into drug and alcohol abuse. Tragedy struck again in 1989 when a boating accident caused him to lose part of his right ring finger, leaving him emotionally devastated and forcing him through years of physical therapy. By 2026, at 53 years old, Mackenzie continues working steadily as a respected character actor. In recent years, he appeared in projects such as Netflix's The Fall of the House of Usher and The Blacklist, often playing intelligent or mysterious supporting characters. He remains admired in Hollywood for quietly building a long-lasting career without relying entirely on his family's fame. Despite those struggles, he continued acting and often speaks publicly about overcoming physical insecurities after his injuries. Away from Hollywood, he married Jennifer Abbott Astin in 2011 and has maintained good relationships with former Facts of Life cast members like Nancy McKeon and Kim Fields. After decades of personal struggles and painful setbacks, Mackenzie Astin became known as one of the most resilient actors from the show's later years. Julie Piekarski as Sue Ann Weaver. Sue Ann Weaver, the cheerful and competitive Eastland student in The Facts of Life, was brought to life by Julie Piekarski when she was just 16 years old. As part of the show's original cast, she quickly became familiar to viewers before the series dramatically reduced its group of girls after season 1. Julie was born on January 2, 1963, in St. Louis, Missouri. Losing her role on the sitcom reportedly left her emotionally devastated during her teenage years, and the sudden rejection pushed her into depression while acting jobs became increasingly difficult to find. Many years later, another painful loss arrived when her 30-year marriage ended in divorce in 2017, leaving her struggling emotionally after dedicating much of her life to family and stability. By 2026, at 63 years old, Julie has quietly returned to acting after spending decades away from Hollywood. She recently traveled to Rome for a guest role in Netflix's Emily in Paris, and also appeared in the 2026 film Learning You, a project created to raise awareness about autism. She has additionally worked on My Heart Remembers and the independent film Merry Christmas, Elijah. Away from the spotlight, Julie spent years raising her 3 children in St. Louis while working behind the scenes in television production. Her son, Christian Probst, later followed the entertainment path through Broadway theater. Although she once admitted feeling blindsided after being removed from the Facts of Life, Julie Piekarski eventually found peace by building a quieter life outside the harsh pressure of Hollywood fame. Julie Ann Haddock as Cindy Webster. Cindy Webster, the sporty tomboy of the Facts of Life, was portrayed by Julie Ann Haddock when she was just 14 years old. Her energetic personality made Cindy stand out during the show's first season, but major cast changes quickly pushed the character into the background and eventually out of the main storyline altogether. Julie was born on April 3, 1965, and entered the entertainment industry as a child actress at only 8 years old. Although early success brought attention, it also left her struggling emotionally behind the scenes. The sudden fame reportedly caused severe loneliness and depression during her teenage years, and losing her regular role on The Facts of Life deeply damaged her confidence. Decades later, another painful chapter came in 2018 when her marriage to Eric Becker ended in divorce, leaving her emotionally overwhelmed while adjusting to life as a single mother. By 2026, at 61 years old, Julie has completely stepped away from Hollywood and now lives a quiet, private life. She occasionally surprises longtime fans by appearing in nostalgic interviews, including recent conversations on The Mike Rand Show, where she reflected on her years as a child star. Much of her time is now spent with family and singing in her local church choir. Outside of The Facts of Life, Julie also appeared in series like Wonder Woman, Little House on the Prairie, and the film The Great Santini alongside Robert Duvall. In 2008, she and several former castmates even received a Humorous TV Land Award nomination for favorite characters who went missing. While many former child stars continued chasing fame, Julie Ann Haddock ultimately chose peace and privacy over life in the spotlight. Sherrie Austin as Pippa McKenna. Viewers first saw Pippa McKenna arrive at the facts of life when Sherrie Austin joined the final season at 17 years old, playing the lively Australian exchange student who brought fresh energy to the series during its closing chapter. Although her time on the sitcom was brief, the role helped introduce her to American audiences. Sherrie was born Sherrie Veronica Kren on August 28, 1970, in Australia. While her acting career never fully exploded in Hollywood, she eventually found a completely different path that transformed her future. After leaving television behind, she moved to Nashville and rebuilt herself within the country music industry, slowly earning recognition as both a singer and songwriter. The transition was difficult at first, forcing her to start over professionally in a highly competitive music scene far away from acting. By 2026, at 55 years old, Sherrie has fully dedicated her life to music rather than television. She now helps manage Go Long Entertainment in Nashville alongside her husband and longtime collaborator Will Rambeau. In recent years, the couple has focused heavily on mentoring and producing younger country artists, including singer Allison Nichols, while Sherrie herself has largely stayed away from Hollywood drama and reunion controversies connected to the facts of life. Away from acting, Sherrie became highly respected in country music for writing songs connected to stars like Tim McGraw, Blake Shelton, and George Strait. Unlike several former castmates caught in public conflicts, she has maintained a quiet and peaceful reputation while focusing almost entirely on songwriting and artist development. After beginning her career as a teenage sitcom actress, Sherrie Austin ultimately found her greatest success far from television cameras. Molly Ringwald as Molly Parker. When Molly Ringwald appeared in The Facts of Life as Molly Parker at only 11 years old, few could have predicted she would soon become one of the defining teen icons of the 1980s. Although her time on the sitcom was brief, the role arrived just before her rise to worldwide fame through classic coming-of-age films. Molly was born on February 18, 1968, in Roseville, California. Her early years in Hollywood quickly became overwhelming after she was labeled part of the famous Brat Pack, a nickname she later admitted made her feel trapped and emotionally isolated. Years later, she also spoke publicly about being sexually harassed at entertainment industry, later revealing she had encounters with Harvey Weinstein but fortunately escaped abuse. She eventually began re-examining some of her own 1980s films, admitting certain scenes normalized inappropriate behavior toward young girls. By 2026, at 58 years old, Molly remains active as both an actress and writer. She recently joined the cast of Universal Pictures' One Night Only, alongside LeVar Burton, and also appeared at the 2026 Sundance Film Festival promoting her independent film Run Amok. Earlier in the decade, she earned praise for mature roles in Riverdale Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story, and Feud, Capote vs. the Swans. She also launched her Molly Book Club online in 2026, focusing on literature and social discussion. Away from acting, Molly has become increasingly outspoken about protecting young performers and preserving artistic integrity in Hollywood. In early 2026, she publicly criticized attempts to remake classic John Hughes films like The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, arguing those stories should remain untouched. Media outlets also revisited her famous decision to reject Pretty Woman because she found the original script icky and uncomfortable. After decades in the spotlight, Molly Ringwald is now respected not only as an 80s icon, but also as a thoughtful voice speaking openly about fame, exploitation, and artistic responsibility. So, that's the cast of The Facts of Life then and now in 2026. While some stars sadly passed away, others survived heartbreak, illness, addiction, and the harsh reality of life after fame. Which cast member's story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more then and now stories from classic television history.